there was a naturopathic doctor. I still work with this guy today. His name's Dr. Brian Papil. And he took labs, like blood draws.
Right.
So we start taking these labs and he would be like, okay, it looks like you need to eat this or take these supplements to kind of, balance anything, or take some vitamin D because it looks like you're deficient in that and that can cause this and this. So seeing that, I'm like, okay, cool. So we're watching this trend. And then it was about 2007 or so, my testosterone went to the gutter. And so I go to the Panthers and they don't teach you anything about this in the NFL either. There are protocols and things in place that they need to educate people on. And for me, I went to the Panthers and I was like, hey, I've got low testosterone. What can we do about this? And they're like, oh, there's nothing you can do about that. That's performance enhancing drugs. Nothing you can do. And I'm just like, oh, shucks. But that was like, I was feeling like low testosterone is like you're hormonal, you're menopausal, you're like, it's like, it's like your hormones are messed up. Right. It creates
imbalance, hormone
imbalance.
imbalance.
Very, it can really, really impact how you operate and how you function. And I would be busting my ass in the weight room, working my ass off at practice, go home, eat a good meal, and be like, I got to catch up and recover. I could sleep 12 hours and wake up and feel like I didn't go to bed.
Yeah.
And actually sleep and feel like I got no recovery, feel like I got hit by a bus. Yeah. And I had this mental fog and I was just grumpy. I was reading this article about Manny Ramirez, the baseball player. Right. And Manny had just got popped with a 50-game suspension for a banned substance. Mm-hmm. And in the article, it said what it was. It was human chorionic gonadotropin. It's HCG. And then I'm reading the article, and at the bottom of it, it says, if players have a medical need for this, then they're allowed to get a therapeutic use exemption for it. And I was like, wait a minute. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Right? So I don't go through a team this time. I find out who's in charge of all this. And it's a guy named Dr. John Lombardo, who is the independent administrator for the performance enhancing drugs program in the NFL. He's like the one that makes all the decisions. He's the ones that will send the FedEx and let you know that you got a positive test and all that stuff. And I was like, how does this work? I've got low testosterone. I've got a few years of blood labs to show the trends. And what does this look like? My doctor told me HCG would fix this. And he says, he presents me with this process of how you're supposed to go about it. And it was like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get 5 blood draws in a row once a week. You're going to see an endocrinologist. And then there's me and one other person who are going to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you get approved, then you get an exemption for the season. Okay. I got approved for it. And I started taking it, and this.
Man, this is I didn't know this was a process.
No one knows. And it's I think it's a can of worms the NFL doesn't even want to talk about, because you got it. Because I firmly believe. Okay. So the diagnosis from the endocrinologist is idiopathic hypogonadism. Yeah. Okay. Idiopathic means no known cause. Okay. I'm pretty damn sure that it's from banging my head into people. Okay. And I had guys that I play with who I knew had low testosterone. And I'm like, I went through this process. You might want to try it. I don't know anyone else Dr. Lombardo told me, I remember at one time, I forgot when he told me, that I was the only one in the NFL that had a therapeutic use exemption for something that could correct testosterone. Right. Wow. And you didn't know this was a process, right? You played in the NFL. Yeah. They don't. And the Panthers training staff told me I couldn't do anything about it. Like, it's like a hidden protocol, a hidden process.
Right. Well, and I can also understand it, because it's guys have used it to not for correcting a medical issue. It's been used to, enhance their performance.
Absolutely.
So I understand the process, and but
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but like, it's just like the way that I was monitoring my own variables and my own health. I'm pretty sure that they're trying to just have some plausible deniability by not looking at those numbers, when those are very, very important factors. But
again, that goes back to your self-awareness. You had enough self-awareness and was around a guy who was exposing you to understanding your body.
Yes, I was.
So a lot of us just don't understand, all these different, we can feel a certain way, but we don't know what the cause.
Exactly.
And then you can go talk to a lot of different people, but if you're not getting the right exposure, then you don't know what to do. And so then it becomes a issue where guys end up using stuff that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And it causes an issue.
Exactly. And it could have been guys who needed to use it too. And they maybe weren't aware of it, or just were trying to instinctively solve an issue. Yeah. But there's this, and that's just because of the I'm not going to say disinformation, but like this,
it's a double-edged sword.
It should, but it's a double-edged sword, but it's also like why is it hidden? Why is it not like? Why is there not? You know, we get all these handbooks and all these letters and the CBA and all this stuff. Why is it just? Why is that process not revealed?
Yeah,
it's so important.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did the whole thing myself, right? I wasn't like going through the team or anything like that. It was me going straight to that doctor and being like, we're fixing this.
Yeah.
And I even changed the entire, like over the course of the next few years, I changed the literal process for which they did it. Because, so that 2009 season, I started taking that stuff in June. My testosterone goes straight back to normal. And I'm starting to get my results back, like my recovery back, and the emotions are regulating, and the mental fog is gone. And after having been in the gutter for like 3 years, it's like almost like that concept of what I was talking about. You know, how you work so long, go to school so long, and then you get to do what you want for a day. Like how fun that is.
Yeah.
After just being in this mental fog for so long and having it lifted, I was on cloud nine. I was just so grateful to be able to be myself again. Yeah. After not knowing why I was not myself, right, and being so confused, and the shame that goes along with not performing, and all these expectations that I had on myself. Yeah. So after that season, that part of their process is, all right, we're going to cycle you off of it now, and we're going to make sure you still need it, right? So they have this process where it's like, you got to get off. I forgot how many weeks it was. You have to get off of it. Yeah. And when you're on something like that, and you already have a problem, you're on something like that, and you take it away because your body was expecting it and already not producing it, it's not just going to wake up and start doing it again. Right. So I went straight back. It might have been even worse. I was an absolute head case. Like just not even knowing why. I was just.
Did that not just affect your own field play? How did it affect relationships? Were you married at the time?
I had a girlfriend. I was a tyrant. That poor girl that I was with, had to deal with the worst version of me. Yeah. It was crazy because I was emotionally I was a toddler. I was just, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. I was reactive to everything. I was a grumpy old man. It was a crazy grumpy old man who's trying to perform and trying to work out and all this stuff. So